Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Monday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you guys have a good week. I just hope everybody's thinking positively. Everybody's on that forward trajectory and moving forward and progressing in their life. And I know sometimes things get in the way. There's obstacles and it's difficult to do that. Just stay focused and keep in mind what is the most important thing, and that is you. If you are not 100%, then you can't help anybody around you anyways. So it's about being selfish, man. It just is what it is until you get a grip on what you're able to do. But let's hope everybody's in a positive mindset right now and everybody's doing good. That's what I want to think. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of this video. So what's up, what's up, what's up? I think that I've been doing a lot of serious topics, and I think I've been doing a lot of things that just ain't fun, right? So I figured I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna talk about 3 of the craziest people I met while doing time. You guys know I can't mention names. I don't mention names on my channel, so I'm not gonna do that. You would have no idea sometimes who's standing next to you. Sometimes the most savage looking guy is not, and sometimes the guy who looks like the most normal, put together dude is the most savage. You just can't tell unless you know them. You know their history, you know what they're all about. And when it comes to killing people, man, I don't feel it's the same as doing crime. I feel like when you are a criminal and you steal or whatever like I did, it's kind of like a lifestyle. It's something that you focus on, whether it's laziness, whether it's the ability to make more money without working and you're just anti-system, whatever it is. I feel like murder, though, a lot of the guys that are in for murder, they're not criminals prior to their murder. They're not running around robbing people and stealing. They just kind of snap. Everybody's got a breaking point. I don't care who you are. If you are poked enough, if somebody is at you enough, I don't care. You can snap. Doesn't matter if you're straight edged. It doesn't matter if you are crazy but soft-hearted and just not into violence. Everybody can be pushed to that point. And the first guy I'm going to mention to you is exactly that story. So when I was in Lindsay, I'm the guy that likes to run around, talk to people, break balls. That's me, right? I like to have fun, laugh, joke, and make the best out of my time. If I can get bozzled while I'm doing that, hey, that's what I want, right? But I remember that I play a lot of cards, right? I play bridge. And I remember there was this old guy that I used to play bridge with when I was in Lindsay. And this guy just looked like this nice old man. Just a regular old guy. And I remember talking to him one day because he's sitting down and he's writing out all these court notes. And I'm like, so what are you doing, bro? What are you writing? And he's like, oh, I'm just trying to get my case together. And I said, if you don't mind, what are you in for? Blew my mind. This old man was in for killing his wife. He had been married to this woman for 20-something years. Apparently, his story was that her mother had died. It drove him mad. It drove her mad. She got evil and more evil and more evil. Poked at him, poked at him, poked at him, and he snapped and smashed her head in with a hammer. And then took out a knife and like a bunch of times. So me being the way that I am, I'm sitting there and I'm telling this guy, bro, are you really going to go to court and victimize yourself? You think that's a good idea for somebody who smashed somebody's face in with a hammer? Or do you think the best idea is for you to own up for what you did, unless you could beat the charges? You know what I mean? But I don't think that happened. I think he got arrested at the scene, right? It's his wife that was killed. So you're pretty cooked, right? So the best thing for you to do is what? Be remorseful and explain your story, because maybe there is a valid reason, which there's not, but maybe there is a mental health triggered by the behavior which led you to act out of sorts or out of character and kind of just snap. But if you go in there, brother, and victimize yourself, you're cooked. They're going to fry you. You're going to get life 25. Nah, man, they're going to understand. Okay, bro, if that's what you want to think. But like I said, I've been doing time for years, and I've met the most savage killers that it's on their face. It's like they got bear wounds across their face, and they've had their face bitten off. They have a bullet hole in their cheek, like the guys that are obviously tough and nuts. But when you see like an old man who just looks like a quiet old man, and then you find out that he smashed somebody's head in with a hammer, hey, like it kind of throws you back. Now, clearly, I have a brother who was charged with murder, and it affected me deeply. It did. It affected me knowing that my brother was capable of that, right? But you never know what somebody's going through up here. Hopefully people never hurt people, use physical violence, decide to take somebody's life, because it's BS, right? I'm not a killer. I don't want to take anybody's life. I don't want to hurt anybody just for no reason. That's not the way that I think. And I don't understand it. But sometimes people make decisions and they have to live with the consequences. As long as they don't cry like a baby, okay. Keep it moving, do your time, accept your punishment, and go down to the pen and do your time. I don't know what happened to this dude. All I'm saying is, he's not a gangster. He's not somebody that you're intimidated by, but clearly loose a couple screws if he thought it was a good idea to go into the court and argue that he's the victim. He's the victim. It blew my mind, man. It blew my mind. I've always been the kind of con that just accepts it. When I get arrested for something and they have evidence, I accept it like a fucking man. I made the decision to go out and do what I do. So I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat my time, and I'm going to do it doing headstands. And I'm going to smile the whole way through, because I don't want anybody to see that they got me, that they're breaking me down. I don't want to seem that vulnerable. And maybe that's something that's bad. Maybe that's institutional values. I don't know what it is. But that's me. Now, the next craziest guy I did time with, and I never knew he was crazy. I was in Joyceville 2006 to 2008, and there was this dude on my range that was friends with my brother that was a little strange. Now, he wasn't doing life. He was doing like 10 or 15 years for robberies, and seemed like a really gentle dude, okay? Now, he's a little bit sus at times. Like, his movements, clearly, he's been locked up a long time, and his attitude is changing a little bit. But at the same time, not somebody you see as dangerous. Then, when you see somebody in the pits of addiction and begging for somebody else's wash, somebody's dirty spoon, you never think that that person was a different person back in the day. Even when I was a junkie, I wasn't begging for people's dirty spoons. Once you're at that level in the penitentiary, letting everybody see you like that, it's pretty much a wrap for you. But when you think back and you find out some things about guys, well, it turns out this dude, years later, got charged for killing somebody in the joint using cyanide. In the joint, bro. They're late 80s, early 90s, a much different time to do time. People weren't playing around. Bodies were dropping a lot more back then. There was a lot less security and a lot less effing around. And clearly this guy at one point was a different person. And when you hear these stories of guys like this, and then you see them begging for a wash, for somebody's dirty spoon, even though they're a good person, it still blows your mind. Because it's hard to believe that somebody can go from this to this. Now, me, myself, when I was younger, coming up in the system and I wasn't on drugs, I had a lot more respect than I did when I was on drugs. That's just a fact. It's just the way it goes. When you're in the system, you will lose respect. If you're a junkie, if you're on methadone, if you're on Suboxone, anything like that, you're not going to necessarily, people aren't going to bully you. People aren't going to hate you, but they're going to look at you just a little bit different. And that's just the way it is. Now, the third guy on this list was something special. Now, I did time in Joyceville a lot of time, and this dude was like this 240-pound East Coaster who used to hit the bag for hours, just bah, bah, bah. No real style in his boxing, but animalistic because he just goes so hard for hours. Now, when I used to talk to this person, I used to think he's a little slow. He was a lifer. He was in for killing somebody, right? But I always thought he was a little slow. So whenever I had the opportunity, I would hook him up. I'd give him a spliff or something like that. And he would really appreciate that. So I always thought of him as, sure, this is the guy that snapped one day. He killed somebody. He's a pretty nice guy, despite the fact that he looks like a total maniac hitting the bag. And you kind of have to be a maniac to go that hard at something that did nothing wrong to you. Like, he was angry at the bag. He was taking a real anger on the heavy bag. And I don't know what he was going through internally, but clearly after I found out a little bit of his story, I knew that this guy must have had demons. So one day we're down in the yard because we're all hitting the bag and doing this kind of stuff, and he gets taken out. He comes back a couple hours later and tells me it's cold case homicide. They're looking into him for 13 different homicides. No wonder the guy's hitting the goddamn bag at 150 miles an hour. This guy's got demons. You want to talk about a demon? This guy was an actual, factual demon. It's crazy when you meet a lot of people and then you find out what they're in for after. It's typically not who you think would be in for those major violent charges. Most guys that are out gangbanging, killing people, they're not really going to jail for it. They do get caught, of course. But a lot of those guys don't get caught because it's so spur of the moment. They're not so emotionally invested because they're already cold to it that they don't need to tell somebody. They don't need to run and tell somebody, get that weight off their shoulders. They're able to go home, go to bed, and live with it. Clearly, this man at one point was able to live with it, but this stuff was catching up and it was tormenting him. Maybe he had demons seeing him in his sleep. Who knows what this guy was going through? But when you watch him hit the bag, ha, 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 for hours, you think to yourself, this guy's mental. This guy is out of his absolute mind, and I want no problems. None at all. No beef for me. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys, so you guys don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my finger, nobody goes to jail. Nobody goes to prison. Nobody's addicted to drugs. Nobody experiences abuse. That's what I do, but that is not reality, especially in 2022. The world's crazy out here. Look what's going on. Wars, pandemics. Like, it's a wrap, bud. I feel like it's a wrap, maybe. And through all of that, you got to stay positive and focused on your goal, because until those days come where it's just a wrap for everybody, you got to keep doing what you're doing, trucking forward and trying to make your life better for you. And the tougher times you get through, the harder the obstacles, the bigger the hurdles, the more prepared you're going to be, man. All those difficult situations that you go through, yes, they can be traumatic, but they can also make you persevere and get through some things that the regular person can't go through, would have no chance of getting through. If you made it through all that, then you got something else inside you, man. You have real purpose. If you can persevere through that kind of pain, trauma, difficulty, then you're a soldier. Tough or not, I don't care. If you can sit in a 6x8 cell for months with no human contact, come out still with your faculties, then you are tough and you have purpose. If you can see violent thing after violent thing after violent thing and it doesn't break you, then you have purpose. You can help somebody. You have that kind of exterior that makes you a leader, man. And I believe in that. I believe in that. There was a time in my life I was weak. I didn't think I could get to where I'm at today. But today I feel confident and I feel good. And it doesn't matter what happens. I live each day, one day at a time. And I focus on being the best me for that day. Of course, you can set short goals, realistic goals that you can achieve to really boost yourself up and make you feel good. But day by day is the way you got to live. If you live too far in the past, you're going to slow yourself down. And if you live too forward in the future, you're going to speed yourself up too much. It's not worth it. If you could please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of this video. So, in this video, I told you about 3 crazy dudes that I did time with. And 3 different types of people. Some you would have no idea what it is that they're really doing. And some, it's clear that they got something going on upstairs. But at the end of the day, when you go to prison, these are the guys you got to live with. Good and bad. The thing about being in prison is you never know, man. Somebody could just lose it one day and you're right in front of them when they lose it. You just become the target and then you are fighting for your life. And for what? To cut corners, make a little bit of money you're not going to be able to keep anyways if you get caught. Just do the math, man. You get locked up on a robbery, you get $50K for it. You get locked up 10 years, right? That's $5K per year. Making a welfare check, you're making double that, 3 times that. If you're breathing, if you have your faculties, this is when you need to be a leader. You need to be there for your family and your community. Love each and every one of you. The new Matt Clark.